Запрошуємо до слова.
Now the floor is given to Colonel Dmytro Hutsulyak, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesperson. Good afternoon, everyone. Now brief information about the last 24 hours at the ATO zone. During last 24 hours, further violations of the Minsk agreements by Russian occupation forces were recorded. The enemy actively used against our positions the artillery of 152 and 122 millimeter of caliber and mortars of different caliber. The Lugansk sector, 9 shellings of the positions of our defenders were recorded. During the day, the enemy used grenade launchers of different types, large caliber machine guns and small arms. Provocative shellings with the use of these types of weapons happened against our positions in the region of Lugansk, Krymsk, Stanitsa Luganska, Zaitsevo and Novoluganska. And the biggest firing impact was made by the enemy against our defenders near Zaitsevo. Here the enemy shelled our defenders 5 times. In the evening at about 8, the occupants launched 7 mines using 82 millimeter mortars. And starting from about 10:30 for about 20 minutes, the enemy made 30 shots with use of 122 millimeter artillery. Later, starting 10:40, here 25 shots with the use of 152 millimeter artillery were recorded, and both artillery shellings of this caliber were prohibited by the Minsk agreements, and the shelling was delivered from the side of the occupied Gorlovka. And the use of large caliber machine guns by the enemy near Stanitsa Luganska once again prevents disengagement of forces and the means of the sides in this area. And shellings was recorded from the side of Prince Igor Hill. Probably the militants of occupation administration of Russian Federation consciously create periodic firing provocations and violations of ceasefire in the region of Stanitsa Lugansk. In case of disengagement of forces and means, they have to withdraw and lose tactically advantageous positions in this area. We should note that the situation in this area is under control by the units of the armed forces of Ukraine, and we state that the ATO forces are ready for disengagement and forces and means in the region of Stanitsa Luganska, but only under condition of strict adherence to the Minsk agreements by Russian occupation forces. In the Donetsk sector, 43 enemy shellings by militants of occupation administrations of Russian Federation were recorded. Defenders of Pisky came under 120 and 82 millimeter mortar fire. They came under fire 4 times, and repeatedly with the use of grenade launchers of different types, large caliber machine guns and small arms, the enemy delivered provocative fire in direction of Ukrainian defenders in the region of Avdiivka, Vodiane, Marienka, Shiroki, Novotroitske, Verkhneteretse, Lebedinske, Pisky, Talakivka, Gnutovo, Pishevik, Pavlopil, Kamenka, Opatna, Nevelske, and near Butivka mine. Also, enemy delivered fire with the use of weaponry of APC twice on defenders of Vodiane, with the use of weapon of IV on defenders of Pisky, Gnutovo, Talakivka, and the region of Shirokina. An enemy sniper was active. On the whole, during the last 24 hours, the Russian occupation forces delivered 52 shellings on our defense positions, including 49 that were identified as precision ones. Consciously ignoring the Minsk agreements, the enemy delivered 25 shots using 152 millimeter artillery, 30 shots using 122 millimeter artillery, and launched about 20 mines using mortars of 120 and 82 millimeter of caliber. In order to preserve lives and health of our military personnel, our defenders 20 times returned adequate fire using only service infantry weapons that are not prohibited by the Minsk Minsk agreements. We informed that Russian armored aggression in the east of our country took a life of one more defender of Ukraine. Unfortunately, in the result of enemy shellings, one Ukrainian serviceman died. He was born in 1997. Our hearts go out to relatives and close ones and combat comrades of our hero. Eternal memory to him. Moreover, in the result of enemy shellings, 3 Ukrainian servicemen were injured. One more serviceman was wounded, and they were brought to military hospitals. Health condition of 2 servicemen is heavy, and the health condition of one more serviceman is of mid-severity. According to updated information, there is one servicewoman among the wounded, and she is anesthetic nurse, and she was also evacuated to medical institution. Her health condition is satisfactory. In the result of use of laser device by the enemy, one Ukrainian serviceman was wounded in the eye. He was evacuated to medical institution, and the diagnosis was established. This is ray ophthalmia. A health condition of the serviceman is satisfactory. According to the press center of ATO headquarters, Russian occupation forces continue to use any opportunity to discredit units of ATO forces. And in the nearest future, the militants plan to carry out a new provocation during the work of the representatives of the SMM-OSCE in the occupied territory of Ukraine. ATO headquarters intelligence got information that alert forces of anti-aircraft defense of the enemy, including in the Bakhmut area, were given a permit to destroy, in the area of their responsibility, SMM-OSCE air drones. At that, the enemy was ordered to take into account the flight trajectory of OSCE drones and deployment of the positions of ATO forces in order to shift the responsibility to Ukrainian forces for destruction of air drone. According to the information by the main intelligence department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Russian occupation authority continues to reinforce ideological influence on population of temporarily occupied territories of Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts. Command of Occupation Administration, jointly with Command of Russian Occupation Forces, carry out comprehensive measures to demonstrate alleged support of local residents and military personnel of units and large units of so-called First and Second Army Corps of Russian Occupation Forces to the ideas of so-called Russian world. In order to simulate pro-Russian sentiments among population, enforced actions with participation of 20 or 25 militants or civilians are organized. At the same time, local pro-Russian propaganda mass media pass off such actions as mass events that allegedly reflect social and political situation in the temporarily occupied territory. This is all. Thank you.
Дякую, колеги. Чи будуть
Thank you. Do you have questions? No questions. Thank you.